We're coming, and we ain't backing down.
We don't need a bunch of cats in here looking in the mirror.
Everybody just do your job. You understand that?
Hey, will you shut up?
I'm bitterly disappointed with the officiating today.
Guys being dudes.
And they run through our like through a tin horn, man.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Alex Kirshner. Welcome to the Split Zone Duo Sunday Hurry Up, presented by Dadwater. We're going to do the thing today, Alex. By God, we're going to do it.
Put those 30 minutes on the clock, Richard. Put them on.
We're going to start the longest 30 minutes in college football podcasting, but that will actually be 30 minutes today. Come hell or high water in 3, 2, 1. Oregon 42, USC 27. Jeremiah McClellan gave you a little something off the bench for an Oregon wide receiver depth chart that was, no Gary Bryant, no Decorian Moore. Like, yes, you got what you got from Kenyon Sadiq, but they ran the ball. McClellan helped. Sadiq was immense, both blocking and receiving. They played really well, and they handled business in this game. I thought USC came out, had a nice play, and had some nice splash plays with the wide receivers, but overall, you saw Oregon's a better team.
There were a couple moments where the USC physical development did show in this game. Like, they didn't look overwhelmed at the line of scrimmage like they have been against good Big Ten teams in the past few years. There was a play when Devin Tompkins stuck a guy in the middle on a great run stop. Their right tackle, Justin Ta'anu, took out multiple guys on one play on a fourth down draw by Mayava when USC was staying in this game. But the difference is that Oregon's able to do that with their eighth string wide receivers and backup offensive linemen, several of whom were like
the offensive line injuries. Like, World goes down in this game. Harkey goes down. They were on like OT4 at one point in time.
And it still worked. And I think that speaks to the difference between Oregon and USC. USC has really built up physically and still didn't have quite enough. One of the reasons they didn't have quite enough is that special teams matter. There was the 85-yard Malik Benson punt return. USC missed a 27-yard field goal. USC had a kickoff out of bounds. USC had a leaping penalty that turned 3 into 7 or maybe even 0 into 7 for Oregon, depending on if you think he would have missed the field goal without the leaping. Special teams matter. Dan Lanning talking a bit of cash after the game, saying that we didn't play Chattanooga State today. Correct, although your non-conference schedule was, I believe, Oklahoma State, Montana State, which is a great FCS team, but an FCS team.
Right, but it's also
Oregon
not
State.
He's also not doing it on November 22nd. You know what he means. Also, the Bryce Betcher play was really sweet that Oregon had. Walk-on player, MLB draft pick actually, comes on, plays 4 or 5 years, and has that play that they dropped for him in a really cool formation in that game. That was cool.
Ohio State 42, Rutgers 9. I think we all get it, yes?
No Carnell
Tate.
That
Smith
maybe,
or Tate?
Well, yeah, no Tate maybe long-term. No number 4, probably not a problem. He'll probably be back next Saturday, on Sundays in the future. Bo Jackson, good enough. The tight end, pretty good.
Max
exactly what you needed here. Exactly what you needed here.
On the other half of that game coming up next week, you had Michigan many, Maryland few. Didn't even bother to write the score down.
Not that
Maryland
few.
scored like 20 points.
Yeah.
There were chants at the end of this game at Maryland's stadium, beat Ohio, and you could hear them because there were no Maryland fans in the stadium. But I'm sure it'll go well to hang on to Mike Locksley for next year. Everyone's going to be very excited about the season. Northwestern 38, Minnesota 35, Iowa 20, Michigan State 17. Couple walk-off field goals or not in those games. Minnesota missed one. So Northwestern finally wins at Wrigley. Very nice. Bowl eligibility for Northwestern. Actually, I think they might have already had bowl eligibility. I forget. Or they got it this week.
They got it this week. It was 5 wins. Yeah, it was 5
wins. And in the case of Iowa, they avert disaster against a really bad Michigan State team with a 44-yard Drew Stevens walk-off. So well done. Penn State, many Nebraska few. Katron Allen became the all-time leading rusher for Penn State, which is why this is on here. Also, there was an interesting interim coach campaign to try to get that job, which is going on. But this conference race is simple. Indiana and Ohio State are winning in. Indiana is going to win for sure. They play Purdue. Ohio State.
So Michigan can't make it?
I don't think so. I think it has to be Oregon if Ohio State should open the door. So the Big Ten compared to most of these conference races is pretty simple. I think there's only one FBS team, that being James Madison, that has officially locked a championship game spot so far. So there's a lot of scenarios. Like Indiana's not going to lose to Purdue and Texas Tech's not going to lose to West Virginia. So you kind of know some of these spots, but much to consider, Richard. In the Atlantic Coast Conference, Pitt 42, Georgia Tech 28.
Three-dimensional chess at its best. The great man, Pat Narduzzi, pulled it off. I mean, we can be adults here, right? They just absolutely game planned for Georgia Tech all week the week before last.
Like I said, I think we should actually consider Notre Dame 10-2 with an asterisk because Pitt didn't care about that game. I might dump them from the playoff based on this. I do think it's very likely that Pitt was spending a bit of time in advance on Georgia Tech and Miami.
Absolutely. Like, that's not even 100%. Like, I'd put money on that at this point in time.
Yeah, if you're new here, Pat Narduzzi saying publicly that he didn't care if Pitt lost by like 100 points to Notre Dame as long as they won the next two. And they do win this one in Atlanta. They come out 28-0 in this game. They had more yards by like 3 minutes into the second quarter than they did in the entire Notre Dame game. Then they worked really hard to blow it.
They then pretty much didn't do anything else for like a quarter and a half, maybe two full quarters as the game went.
Pitt gets a gorgeous 100-yard pick six as Georgia Tech's coming down to make this a one-score game after going down 28-0. You would think then that Pitt would be good, but Pitt was almost still not good because Pat Narduzzi called for one of the worst planned fake punts ever, which then looked worse after all of the play side blocks failed as well.
Well,
Hughes
no,
explained it afterward by saying,
I think he was going to get it, but he just tripped.
I don't. I think the blocks all lost, and they had to get 9 yards. Anyway, he said after the game, and I quote, "I'm a dumbass, just a coach trying to make a play." Hate how much I love that. Pat Narduzzi is going to make it terrible, but Pitt has a chance to win the ACC for the second time in 5 years, so I shouldn't bitch that much. Also having a chance to win the ACC. By the way, Georgia Tech, not dead yet, although it's not looking very good, and this was a huge loss for them. They were winning in, and it's not a good situation. SMU 38, Louisville 6. SMU, who I've said all year, Richard, I don't think is good, might just be good.
Yeah, I think we may have missed the mark on SMU. I mean, absent of the Wake thing, which was weird and dumb, it would be like 8 in a row, I think, next week if they're
playing good ball. Yeah.
You know, you got to hand it to them. You do have to hand it to them.
Couple things I noticed in this game as I was watching it. The announcer crew for ESPN kept talking about how Kevin Jennings plays backyard football. But I'm a 90s baby, and I wasn't sure if they were talking for a while because they kept using the phrase backyard football. They were talking about the computer game. Pablo Sanchez. I eventually realized when they said I played backyard, because the announcer was saying I played backyard football as a kid, and when I threw it, I couldn't throw it like that, which made me realize that they weren't talking about the computer game. But I'm always going to be a Pablo Sanchez kid, as I'm sure many of our listeners are. Brawl and Louisville have had a complete collapse here. They did not start Miller Moss, who was hurt, but I was kind of reading between the lines.
Soft benching there,
felt that way. Braum is the most conservative guy in the country in going forward on fourth down, 23% on 4th and 6 or less. In this game, while they were getting killed, he punted on 4th and 11 at midfield. He punted on 4th and 2 at his own 38. They weren't going to win this game anyway, but show a little fight, Jeff. Really bad. Miami 34, Virginia Tech 17.
There was a point in time when the vibes were not so good. When Virginia Tech gets that onside kick there, and they're down, I think, 10 at the time, and they look like just faintly they could potentially do the thing, but not really. Malachi Toney is immense, man. Malachi Toney is just a shockingly good player. Like,
also a gentleman.
So cool.
He ran someone over on the sideline and then affectionately helped them up and said sorry.
He has an icing touchdown in the end. This should have actually been 27-17, but he scores there with like 20 seconds left or something. Was already having a big day. Had a massive catch after Miami stopped Virginia Tech after that onside kick that I was talking about. There was also a weird play where Virginia Tech, one of those like quarterback wasn't actually down and actually got the throw off horizontal to the ground, but they called it dead, so they had to replay the down. And then the next play, Miami just sacked the quarterback.
Yeah, the perfect metaphor. The perfect metaphor for this Virginia Tech season. I mean, really couldn't describe it any better. Tech did get to introduce James Franklin at halftime. He's had a nice kissing baby, shaking hands, retail politics kind of week there. So
and he was in the booth as well, just like I mean, saw it coming from a mile away. Also, enough with the Hokie Stone uniforms, man. Please.
Yes.
God, please.
Yes. In fact, I think I'm ready to say this. Oklahoma, listen to. There isn't a good gray uniform in the sport.
think that's fair. What about Tennessee Smoky Grays? Quickly.
No. Nope.
Okay. All right.
Nope. There isn't a good one. Tennessee has a great uniform. Wear it.
Okay.
The gray thing doesn't work. It feels like it's too consultant driven. It just doesn't look good. And I know you have the Hokie Stone, but I don't care. You have a good jersey. Wear it. The orange is cool too, even if you don't want to wear the maroon. The gray is not for me. Stanford 31, Cal 10. Huge for Stanford. There was a funny moment in this game, Richard, involving Andrew Luck on a sideline interview that was actually great television. He's getting interviewed as Stanford scoops and scores.
It was really cool. It's one of probably the coolest in-game interview moments you'll see in quite some time. Andrew Luck is on one corner of the field being interviewed by the sideline reporter at that time. And he sort of like turns around as the play is happening behind him. And Stanford has a strip sack fumble that comes like right towards them. So they literally score like right in front of Luck. The camera's right there. It's a really cool angle. Had a real GM off in this game. Because there was this, then there was also Ron Rivera at one point in time caught on the cameras, like all the way out to the numbers, yelling at the refs at one point in time. Tremendous stuff.
Highly visible GMs. I wonder if Ron Rivera is going to have some busy work to do over the next couple of weeks. Cal clinches not having a winning conference season for the 9th year out of 9 under Justin Wilcox across 2 different conferences. Their offense this week was the worst on a per play EPA basis in FBS in their rivalry game that they care about. The Harsin Rolovich thing, despite some good moments from Jaron Calvé Sangapulatelli this year, cannot be considered a success. It was always kind of a weird culture fit. Very much a weird culture fit. I just wonder what we're going to see from Cal. Maybe we'll talk about it this week when we do a big coach show early in the week at splitzoneduo.com. Great time to subscribe, in my opinion. Another rivalry game in the ACC, Duke 32, North Carolina 25. This one had one of the most memorable plays of the college football season, Richard.
I don't know if I've ever seen a kicker move like that, to be honest with you. That was sick.
They put the game in his hands, not on his foot. They put it on his legs, plural, running. A gutsy pitch out to the kicker, fake field goal. When a 44-yard field goal would have put them ahead by 2. And they decide, no, we don't want a field goal. We don't want 3. We want 7. I believe we want 8, actually, because they went for 2 after the touchdown. And Duke gets it down inside the 5 and scores. Pretty fitting for North Carolina to take a 7th loss this way. Bill Belichick is a special team savant. He is. It's one of the things that has made him great over his career. And for him to get punked here, for North Carolina to take a 7th loss, pretty bleak. Pretty fitting for the way this year went.
There's a guy coming off the edge, just like diving, selling out to try to block that thing.
It was perfect call.
The fake at all.
It was perfect call.
Notre Dame 70, Syracuse 7. Why is this on here?
Just to point out that I think Notre Dame could have scored 100 here if Freeman was in the mood. They definitely could have scored 80.
They had the starters in the game in the second half, early in the second half, but in the second half.
The starter who they were most featuring is a running back. But what did Jeremiah Love average in this game?
A lot.
As far as I'm concerned, it was 30 yards a carry. I mean, it wasn't, but I have to say, I think I would probably, if I had a Heisman vote, which you now do, my friend. Congratulations.
I sure do.
I think I might vote for Jeremiah Love.
Well, because I have a Heisman vote, obviously I can't talk about.
No, I can't. It's like you're like Herb Street on game day. You can't pick the game. I can't. I think I might take Jeremiah Love as the season has gone on. And that's not disrespect to anybody else.
Can't talk about it. I have a Heisman vote now.
He's having a special season.
Thank you, Alex. I appreciate that.
On Friday, NC State 21, Florida State 11.
I know it's not rock bottom because last year happened, but Jesus Christ, man. Like, come on.
Well, the Florida State punt return team had a sequence the likes of which you may never see ever again. In the last, 6 minutes of this game, Florida State is down a field goal, forces a punt. One of the blockers on the Florida State punt return team accidentally essentially headbutts the ball back to the line of scrimmage, and it's a live ball recovered by NC State. I'm sure you've seen the replay by now, but if you haven't, it's humorous.
Very farcical.
And then FSU's defense gets another stop, and then Squirrel White just does a nice old-fashioned muffing of the punt.
Yeah.
Trying to fair catch it. Yeah. And then NC State takes the field position and goes and scores.
They did have another one. They had another one, and he caught it, and like the crowd cheered. It was very fun.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes shambolic special teams like this are a precursor to a coach being shown the door. Trent Bray earlier this year at Oregon State. Scott Frost at Nebraska. This was a big subplot there. Jeff Collins at Georgia Tech. we'll talk about Florida State this week, but they said they were evaluating over the last month of the season, right? That was what they said. If you're actually evaluating, I wonder how this looked when you watched them do this. Then they've struggled for years at Carter Finley, but still. Wake Forest 52, Delaware 8. Wake has 8 wins. Robbie Ashford, career day at quarterback, by the way. Very
Tremendous.
Good for them.
Tremendous.
Yeah, well done. Good season. ACC's messy.
We're not. Nope. Move on. We're not doing ACC tiebreakers. Do not care. Call me next weekend. BYU 26, Cincinnati 14. BYU, really credit to them. Cincinnati definitely left some points on the board. I get it, but BYU, this was not fake. Like BYU handled business here.
It was completely fake. What are you talking about? Cincinnati missed field goals from 40, 42, and 48. They had a 10-play, 72-yard drive halted at the 3. They won yards per play by a full yard. Brendan Sorsby underthrew a ball down the right side of the field, kind of similar to how they lost that Nebraska game. Bad pick down the right side of the field when he had a guy streaking, underthrown, picked, made it 17-7 when BYU came down the field.
No, you're just mad because...
I'm not happy. Yeah. I'm not happy. Cincinnati was the Dadwater home dog of the week at plus 3-ish. Of course, we don't pick spreads.
We don't.
This is our 5th loss straight up on these. So we are now 7-5 and 11-1 against the spread. And 11-1 is obviously good against the spread, but
I mean, it would make the college football playoff if it was a football team.
But we weren't invested in the spread thing. It's just I wanted to have the winner. Sure. This is not a tout show, but I mean, Cincinnati should have won this game, and the process was there. It just didn't happen for us. Anyway, thank you to Dadwater, the flavorful and stylish tequila water with 4 all-natural ingredients, no sugar, no carbs, no carbonation, and gluten-free. We move forward on this edition of the Sunday Hurry Up presented by Dadwater. Thank you so much to Dadwater.
Utah 51, Kansas State 47. I'm sure it's happened. Obviously, it's probably happened. But it's got to be single digits the amount of time somebody gives up 500 yards rush. 500 yards rushing. And wins. That's insane.
Well, this was sort of a historic rushing output combined for these teams. This is the first time since an Ole Miss Arkansas game several years ago that someone has cleared 750 yards. That 2 teams have cleared 750 rushing yards in a game. Joe Jackson for K-State had 290 some on his own in defeat. It was kind of amazing to watch, actually.
Yeah, it was every time I looked up. Every time I looked up, Kansas State was ripping a long run.
And they lost.
Utah has a Devin Dampier in Utah ripped a long run with one of the worst run fits you will ever see.
Utah has 2 quarterbacks who they use in the quarterback run game more or less interchangeably for reasons I don't really get, because it's not like this is a case like you've seen before where there's the drop back quarterback and the running quarterback. Maybe it's just to manage snap counts, manage the wear and tear on their bodies as if they're running backs, which they kind of are. But great win for Utah, which stays alive. Kyle Whittingham looked pretty emotional after this game in his press conference.
It's about senior day. Why are you speaking Kyle Whittingham's retirement into existence all season?
I don't know. Did it look like it was senior day?
Yes,
to you?
It did look like it was senior day. I watched it. Anyway, Utah is still alive for the Nokian event. They will be there. Utah's entire football team will be there.
They're coming.
Mason Jar in New York City, Championship Saturday. It's less than 2 weeks out. Championship Saturday, noon Eastern time. Mason Jar in Manhattan, our dear partners at Nokian Tires, will be gathering with us to watch football, specifically the Big 12 championship game. Not sure that BYU will be in that game. Again, they will be at Mason Jar. I'm telling you. NokianTires.com. NokianTires.com/SCD. RSVP link. Also in our show notes, it'll be in there as well. Come out. We're going to have a great time at Mason Jar. And thank you to Mason Jar for hosting us as well. TCU 17, Houston 14. Absolutely really cool Connor Wegman play to get them in field goal position. Gets absolutely, no one will ever remember it because of one of the worst shanks of the year to tie the game by Houston.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Nice for TCU to get something here. Houston actually had a technical Big 12 path coming into this. Not serious, but that's over with now. Still a good year for them, but it'd be nice if they could win next week. Get that win total up. Arizona 41, Baylor 17. Baylor keeping Dave Aranda because they don't have an AD and it's not the time, but they stink. Arizona probably going to win 9 games this year. They got the Territorial Cup next week with no Sam Leavitt for Arizona State. Brent Brennan, but we'll see because Arizona State, as we'll talk about, is still tough.
I'm about to say.
Brent Brennan has not been very popular there, but they are one flipped BYU overtime game away from very possibly being in the conference championship game. They're not that far away. And I think it's been a nice second half of the season for them. Arizona State 42, Colorado 17. I'll tell you, Richard, Raleek Brown is not Cam Scatterbo, but he's a heck of a follow-up find for the Arizona State backfield.
Yeah. The Fighting Jeff Sims get it done. There was like a double pass touchdown in this play. Jordan Tyson played out of pure spite because he transferred from Colorado. That was cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sims is having a really nice capstone to his career. Just got to give it up. It's been multiple weeks now.
You're not sure he doesn't have eligibility left. I'm not.
Yeah, you're right. They could find it under the couch cushions. In the SEC, Oklahoma 17, Missouri 6. Couple thoughts from me. Number one, Oklahoma special teams have been a season-changing unit in this sport the past 3 games, every game they've played this month. This is 3 times in 3 games where their special teams have totally changed the game for them, and they've won. The kicker sort of won them that game on Rocky Top on the first day of the month. A big punt return and a blocked kick were key in them beating Alabama, and this game turned on a blocked kick too. Missouri was controlling this game. Drinkwitz kicked a field goal that, frankly, probably should have gone for it. You're going to need touchdowns to be the team that's better than you.
4th and 3.
I think it might have been 4th and 6, but you're playing with an injured quarterback on the road against a great defense, a team that's better than you. You're going to have to score touchdowns. Anyway, Peyton Blown blocks the kick, and then 3 plays later, Isaiah Satania has an 87-yard catch and run touchdown, and the game was never the same. Drinkwitz to Penn State would be darkly amusing because he's a good program builder whose in-game decision-making in big spots is iffy. So he'd be a funny Penn State hire.
I'm not saying, you won't win a game in December. And note, I said December and not January. But I don't know that I want to see them. Just
it's ugly. It's ugly ball. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, with 3 weeks to plan, Brent Venables probably will cook it up, and they probably will win the first round game. Anyway, Kentucky 45, Vanderbilt 17. Cutter Boley got hurt in this game, but they were getting smoked anyway. Swan song for Diego Pavia, who is a statue player at Vanderbilt. Senior day, not like he's not gonna. Yeah,
he's like PhD student day at this point, or whatever it is. Right. Texas 52, Arkansas 37. Arch collected some different types of touchdowns here: running, throwing, passing.
First, you know how this went to do so.
Yeah,
this was the full Arch, by the way. If you've been waiting to see it, this was it. I know Arkansas is bad, obviously, but this is the full Arch and the tune-up before what's to come on Friday night.
Some quarterback run defense problems for Texas make you wonder a little bit, given what's coming next week. If you're looking for a concern out of this, that would be my concern. Quarterback run. The guy at Texas A&M, pretty good at that. Anyway, huge week for our friends at Home Field. If you use a code, and you can autofill it on the homefieldapparel.com website, homefield30 at checkout, you'll get 30% off. A wonderful Black Friday sale at Home Field. Home Field does not do that many sales, and it's worth shopping there, in my opinion, all the time because of the quality of the products. But why pay full price when you don't gotta? What a time to buy shirts, outerwear, sweats, hats, and the like. Homefieldapparel.com, code homefield30 at checkout. It's right there on the top of the website if you go and visit. A lot of SoCon Saturday stuff in this league, Richard. Tennessee took some feelings out on Florida, I understand.
Woo. Yeah, 28-0. Before you really even could blink in that game, and Tennessee spent the second half making it hurt. I got a text from our man Nokia from Nokia Tires, Wes Bowling, who said at 35-0 I would still be stressed, and that was at 28-0, and I texted him, brother, you may get that wish. So yeah, Saturday night in the swamp, a little feckless last night.
In the American Conference, Tulane 37, Temple 13. Business taken care of despite a week of distractions, if you will, for Tulane.
Yeah, distractions. Let's call it that, right? Distractions.
I would honestly say that for John Summerall, coaching Tulane might be the distraction right now. Which I don't like. But they're winning
56. North Texas 56, also in winning in, right? Rice 24.
Yeah, North Texas has scored 50 in more than half of their games this season. This is the team in the G5 this year that could win a playoff game, in my opinion. Probably won't. I don't think there's that team this year, but could, because they could just blitz someone, metaphorically speaking, and that team looks up and it's 21-3 late in the first quarter, just because.
Or they can at least keep up. Well, they can at least keep up when their defense is getting smoked.
Wyatt Young had 295 receiving yards in this game, which is 39 more yards than any other player in college football or in FBS has had receiving in a game all year. 39 more yards. The offensive line gave up nothing in the pressure department, or very close to nothing. They're dangerous. They're dangerous. I think this is the team that could actually win something out of the G5 in the playoff. UTSA 58, ECU 24. A fun run for a while for ECU and ended. UTSA scored 58 with 40% of their offensive line hurt during this game. Owen McCown career high 5 touchdown passes. What a weird team UTSA is too. Weird season for both of these guys.
USF 48, UAB 14. Very unfortunate news out of UAB the morning before the game. 2 players were stabbed at the facility. They are in stable condition according to the schools. The injury is not life-threatening. And the teammate who did it was taken into custody.
Who allegedly did it was taken into custody, yes. Big games in FCS, huge ones in FCS. This was a great FCS day. Number 25, Yale, 45. Number 10, Harvard, 28. Disaster basically from the jump for Harvard, which was unbeaten. They got a senior class now that never beat Yale. First time that's happened since the 40s. They had a fumble on the very first play of this game. Yale stunted on them in the deep passing game. Sometimes the Ivy League has these receivers, a couple of them in the last few years. Justin Watson at Penn, Andre Yosevas at Princeton. Yale's got this guy, Nico Brown, who's a serious ball player, who has cleared 100 yards in all but I think 2 games this year and really put it on Harvard in this game. Well done for the Bulldogs.
Brawl of the Wild, Montana State 31, Montana 28. Get-in price for this was steep. Near $500 for some tickets that I saw online, and it did live up to the billing.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to this game. It just looks really fun. And that stadium, particularly when the game's at Montana, just looks like a place I'd like to experience in my college football. I've got Chippy at the end, like after the game, some Bobcats harassing Grizz fans from the field. Justin Lamson, the Montana State quarterback, was 18 of 20 for $175 and a touchdown. Took some sacks, but completed his last 11 passes, and they stayed on schedule. This is a bit of an upset, 3 versus 2 game. Went on the road. This is Selection Sunday just today for FCS. This is going to make Montana State the 2 seed behind North Dakota State in the FCS playoffs. South Dakota State 34, North Dakota 31 in overtime. Noting this, we're going to have to see what happens with South Dakota State. They were on the verge of losing 5 in a row, which definitely would have ended their season. They're going to be a bubble team. By the time you listen to this, we'll know, but they've had a shocking collapse this year. They lost their coach, Jimmy Rogers. They lost Mark Gronowski. Tough one, but they survived for a moment here. Tennessee Tech 20, UT Martin 17. This wins the OVC Big South title for Tennessee Tech, which has not lost a game to an FCS team this year. And Lehigh 42, Lafayette 32 to win the Patriot League and keep Lehigh undefeated, the 161st time that this game has been played. Richard, in the Sun Belt, James Madison 24, Washington State 20. Wazzu, man, this year, like 3 different times, has almost had a great win and just hasn't had it. And they are 5-6 going into the second Oregon State game.
2.5 minutes left. Really tough season for Wazzu because of that. They have been so close. Louisiana 34, Arkansas State 30. This was a farce, this was a farce before all of the stuff that you're about to very quickly move through because we have 2 minutes and 10 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, Bush Jones just kicked a field goal when he shouldn't have, and then they had a chance to come back and win the game anyway, but didn't maximize their shots and came up just short, and he was very upset. South Bama 42, Southern Miss 35. Someone's got to win the Sun Belt West, Richard. Someone's got to do it. They don't really seem to want to. Braylon Braxton Brack for Southern Miss, but not good. Troy 31, Georgia State 19. Troy had to work really hard to put this one on ice at the end, but Troy and Southern Miss are going to play at Troy next week for the right to play and probably honestly get beaten down by James Madison in the Sun Belt title game. In Conference USA, Kennesaw State University, that's right. 10 win. 41 to Missouri State's 38. You told me this one was wild.
Incredible ending at the end. They go into the fourth quarter tied at 27. Missouri State tries to fake a 4th and 10 52-yard field goal. They fail. Kennesaw State then comes back down to score and win the game. Driver's seat for the conference title berth are the Owls. Credit to them, 1:17 left on the clock. FIU 27, Jacksonville State 21. This loss puts Kennesaw State in the driver's seat to go to the conference title game. A driver's seat, I should say. UNLV 38, Hawaii 10 from Friday
Golden
night.
Pineapple.
Unfortunate for the Bows.
Yeah, Golden Pineapple sticks with the Rebels.
1
ass kicking.
minute.
Hawaii did not touch the red zone all night. San Diego State 25, San Jose State 3. Here's a fun one for you. The top 6 defenses in the country by offensive touchdowns allowed this year. Ohio State, Indiana, San Diego State, Oklahoma, Texas Tech, and Iowa. Incredible defense this year for the Aztecs. Utah State 28, Fresno State 17. Fresno, for some reason, goes back to E.J. Warner at quarterback. Matt Entz didn't say why. Didn't go very well in this game. Tough one for Fresno State. New Mexico 20, Air Force 13. The Lobos put it on Air Force, which did not have the quarterback and thus was very bad. Boise State 49, Colorado State 21. Boise finally got the dream running back game they wanted from Sire Gaines, Dylan Riley, Malik Sherrod. This is what it was supposed to look like all year.
15.
In the Maction games, weeknight, Western Michigan 35, NIU 19, Miami 37, Buffalo 20, Central Michigan 28, Kent State 16, Ohio 42,
4,
UMass 14.
3,
We've just named all
2,
the games that we're going to put on the show.
1.
It counts. So we actually just got through.
You got a list of bowl teams. And you got a list of 7-loss teams. And you got a list of lower level playoffs.
No, I mean, Richard, but we got through the games of the FBS and even some FCS games. So I'm saying that we did it in 30 minutes. Now we're just kind of doing the little bumper shoulder content.
Sure.
There are 5 teams still alive in the MAC. We'll explain that on the midweek. It is going to be messy.
It's not even the midweek this week. It's the early week because it's Thanksgiving week.
We are going to record the tasting menu this week on Tuesday so you can have it for more of your Thanksgiving travel. That's the thing we try to do each year. Yes, congratulations to this week's newly clinched bowl teams. Northwestern, Louisiana Tech, Duke, FIU, UTSA, Miami University, NC State, Clemson, and Utah State. And eternal shame on the new 7-loss teams that have lost bowl eligibility for the season. Liberty, tough one. Wyoming, really can't believe how bad Liberty's been this year. Ball State, FAU, Kent State, Maryland, go Terps, baby. Unbelievable that we're doing this again. Really unbelievable that we're running this back. And North Carolina, though North Carolina might have an APR path if there are not enough teams. Dorks, yeah.
I will say the D2 play, you gotta see it.
You have to watch this.
Like one of the best throws I saw all day. Probably the best throw I've seen all day.
On pure football terms, this was better than the Music City Miracle.
Yeah.
This was the beginning of the Division II playoffs, freshly expanded from 28 to 32 teams. So no first round buys. There were 16 games the other day. And Benedict College, that's South Carolina, comes back from 24-0 down to beat Wingate with the decisive play being this across the whole field lateral. I mean, it's probably a 40-yard horizontal lateral. Something and it wasn't a kick, right?
The Music City Miracle was a kickoff. This was not a kickoff. This was a scrimmage play.
Yep. This was incredible stuff. And they score as the clock goes to 0. So go and find that video if you haven't come across it yet on your socials. The Division III playoffs also going. 8 first-round games, most of the field on bye. Wheaton, that's Illinois, beat Crown, that's Minnesota, 76-14. It was 34-0 in the first quarter. To which all I can say is, well, I was going to say Syracuse, it's not so bad, but this actually wound up being pretty much the same. Syracuse lost 70-7, so that's 63-point margin. This was 76-14, so that's a 62-point margin. Wow, Syracuse lost by more than this team did.
All right, I'm going to go watch the North London Derby. Come on, you Spurs.
Coach Show, Monday, splitsunderdo.com. Be on the lookout.